and gentlemen, visionaries, founders, and creators, and those building something that is just bigger than themselves. Welcome back to another episode of VirtuoHub, where innovation meets execution and ordinary people turn extraordinary ideas into real world impact. I am your host, Ali Mehdaoui, and today, well, buckle up because we're about to dive deep into a conversation that blends leadership, resilience, discipline, and complete transformation. My guest today is someone who understands pressure, not just from the boardroom, but from the field, the community, and the world around us. A man who has navigated life with purpose, built his craft through focus and grit, and continues to evolve with intention. Elrick King is not just a name, he is a presence. He is a mentor, a developer of people, a strategist, a builder of mindset, and someone who's lived experiences that have shaped the message that he carries today. From overcoming challenges to leading with authenticity to helping others find clarity in their own path, Elrick brings a voice that is grounded, real, and necessary. Today, we're talking about the journey versus the destination and what it means to be built through adversity and why the next generation of leaders needs a new blueprint. One rooted in emotional intelligence, accountability, faith, and alignment. So, fam, get ready. This is going to be raw. This is going to be honest, and this is going to be impactful. Elrick King, welcome to the VirtuoHub. How you doing, boss?
Good morning. How you doing, brother man?
Amazing. Thank God. I am so excited to have this opportunity to hear your story and document it, not only for the VirtuoHub audience, but also as an official introduction to the V League as well and its audience. So let's dive right in. For those hearing your name for the very first time, who is Elrick King? And how do you define yourself today?
That's a great question. For me, when they hear my name, I want them to put into perspective the journey I've had to make coming from born here in Birmingham, Alabama. I was raised in San Diego, California, so I was in the era of West Coast gangs and all that stuff. Never was interested in being part of a clique or a gang or anything like that. I was a basketball head. And even through my adversities that I had, because I was an abused child, I don't know how I got out of that, but I made the most of it. Went to the military. I was a medic in the Army. So I love being able to help people. I kind of figured that out early in my life. So me being a medic helped me exacerbate that and make it part of who I am as a person. I'm a father. I'm a giver. I do like that I have a compassionate heart. And I want people to, when they look at me, to say, oh, hey, that's a good brother. That's the main thing.
What moment would you say, or season in your life that shaped the man who you became today?
I think when I was about 15, I got kicked out the house. It wasn't nothing that I did. It was just something that happened with my mom and a situation that grew to the point where I had to come move down south with my grandmother. I was always an intelligent boy, got great grades in school, but I wasn't acknowledged for it. So I guess when I got that acknowledgement that you can be somebody more than what you see around you, that kind of shaped me to who I am today. So thanks for Lula Mae Scott. That was my grandmother who passed away from cancer, but she instilled so much self motivation that it made me want to be a better person, regardless of where I am or anything like that. When somebody sees me, they can say, "Oh, hey, that's Ken." Yeah.
Well, I know grandma's looking down right now with a big wide smile and still saying, "Look at my baby." What was the first, if you want to call it a wake up moment for you when you realized you had more to give to the world?
I think after I got out the military, I was like, I know my knowledge is pretty vast. When I I would sit there and soak up a lot of the things that were told to me as far as the leadership. But at the time, you're a young dude, you don't really have that aspiration to be the best person that you should be or could be. But I woke up when I got out the military. I was like, you know what? I could have stayed in, but now I got to make the most of what I have. And that's what I did.
Well, on behalf of my family, Virtual Hub, and the V League, thank you for your service. Really, really, I know it's usually said just to be said because that's what we're supposed to say. I have my older brother served twice in Afghanistan, and
Ooh.
whole family before him, active military. So I appreciate it a little bit more than just
Mhm.
novelty to say the least.
I appreciate that.
Of course, you talk a lot about discipline and about alignment. What does discipline actually look like in your life?
Discipline to me, like I said, I've been in the military and we grew up in California. So, marijuana was abundant. Drinking in the military was
The
something that
norm.
everybody did, the norm.
Yeah.
I'm 55 years old, and like I said, I have never drank or smoked in my life. So that's what it looks like to me. If I'm not going to do something, I'm not going to do it. It's about keeping your word to yourself, being able to say, you know what, I'm good. I don't need that. And that's what you try to instill. That's what I'm trying to instill in my players, that just because something is going on around you doesn't mean you need to be a part of it.
Interesting.
Sometimes escapism is the best way to be, because I lost a player. It would be 3 years ago on the 26th of December. This guy was pretty special to me. Chuck Smith. He was gunned down at a house party. That it was weird because he had just texted me like maybe an hour before he was killed. And you try to give them the best example of how not to get caught up into situations. And from what I heard, he wasn't caught up in the situation. Someone just didn't like it. And you can't put yourself in situations that could happen.
Yeah.
So that right there gave me more motivation to try to be more of a perspective or guidance point to, hey, I'm good. I don't need to be around this. I got a game in 2 days or something like
Yeah. Mr. King, I got to ask, in our growth, in our journey, if you will, usually our belief system evolves, grows, or even changes.
that.
What is a belief system that you had 3 to 5 years ago that you no longer hold today? Whether it was a good process or that became better, or a process that was totally wrong and you had to go a different direction with your belief system.
My belief system is, if you want to believe in somebody, believe in yourself. Because ultimately people will let you down, but it's a worse feeling to let yourself down. I believe that money can change people, but it changed them to who they ultimately were in the beginning. So I try to be the best me that I can be all the time.
Yeah. How do you, specifically that you said, trying to be the best me that I can, how do you stay mentally centered when life gets loud and stressful? And the last however many years, there's a lot of, with especially social media amplifies
hmm
the noise and the stress itself. So how do you stay mentally centered through all of that?
There is a higher power. God is a higher power. And you speak to him the way you feel is going to be best for you to understand what he's giving back to you. So you got to go sometimes to a quiet place mentally. For me, I could be around a lot of people, but I can center myself. I can take myself away mentally to where that I can hear what's being told to me.
What's something people don't know about the next-gen streaming platform? Imagine a world where streaming isn't just about broadcasting your content, but about creating an entire universe for your audience to explore. VirtuoVerse is here to revolutionize content creation. Traditional streaming is outdated. With VirtuoVerse, you can step into a new dimension of interaction and creativity. Host events, create content, and engage your audience in a whole new way. VirtuoVerse brings next-level virtual experiences where you're not just a creator, you're an innovator. Create your own virtual stage with stunning visuals and real-time engagement. Stream, monetize, and grow, all in one powerful platform. Whether you're an artist, an entrepreneur, or a game changer, VirtuoVerse is your stage. Imagine having the tools to not only share your passion, but also to turn it into a thriving business. With VirtuoVerse, you can track your growth, engage with your audience in real time, and celebrate your milestones like never before. Ready to level up? Join the revolution in content creation and entertainment. Open a free account today and start your journey towards becoming a virtual pioneer. The future of streaming is here, and it's called VirtuoVerse. Don't just stream, create, innovate, and captivate your audience like never before. Join VirtuoVerse today and redefine what it means to be a content creator. VirtuoVerse integrates seamlessly with your favorite social media platforms, making it easier than ever to share your content and grow your audience. Engage with your followers, receive instant feedback, and build a community around your passion. And here's the game changer. VirtuoVerse pays you for watching, adding, and commenting on other people's content. Turn your engagement into earnings and make every interaction count. VirtuoVerse is not just a platform, it's a thriving ecosystem where everyone benefits. Join VirtuoVerse today and be part of the future of streaming. Create, share, and earn like never before. VirtuoVerse, where your creativity meets endless possibilities. Sign up at VirtuoVerse for free today.
If I may dig a little bit deeper,
Go ahead.
when you think about leadership today, and whether with the players, whether in life in general, what do you believe is what's missing in most men and women today as far as becoming the best version of themselves?
One thing is missing, I would say, is respect. The respect aspect of what we were taught into what's being taught today is completely being missed. It's a sense of ownership. Everything is mine. It belongs to me. Sense of entitlement. Everyone wants something given to them instead of them earning it. Making, it just, I think to the situation that happened about, I think maybe a week ago, 2 weeks ago, where there are children jumping on a grown woman. Man, back in my day, that's not happening because that respect aspect that they live their life, so I got to stand in child's place. But what's missing is a lot of these kids are their parents' best friend. And you got to have that boundary. Because you got to remember, when we're not around, when parents aren't around, kids cuss each other out. They don't respect each other a way an adult would. So I feel that the boundaries are blurred. You get on social media and you have parents allowing their kids to use profanity in the bathroom. No, that's not what we grew up on.
Yeah. And I think there's many of us that still hold those core values, as loud as the negative world is. I think there are a few of us that are still holding it down.
Yes.
What is your approach to developing that respectful person within your team, and especially with those who struggle with self-belief? There's a lot of times people make the wrong decision just because of self-worth is not there. Well, I've already sinned. I've already failed. I've already ruined my credit. I've already gained the weight. I've already, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And
Right.
then it's automatically as in giving up on our self-dignity and self-respect. So how do you, Coach King, a leader, developer, team owner, whomever you are for the individual that is listening to you right now, how do you approach developing people?
I can pull a player to the side and I would say, you're better than what you're giving yourself. Not about the team, not about anybody else, but yourself. If you want to be better, you got to look within yourself to find that motivation. I can talk to you till I'm blue in the face, but until you understand that there is something inside you that makes you a better person, a better player, a better teammate, it's not going to happen. So you got to decide what you want to do. Do you want to be a better person, or you just want to sit here and sulk into what you feel you have to be? You have to start. I feel like you have to motivate them mentally before they can do what they're supposed to do physically.
Yeah.
It could be, you have players that they're just in a bad mode and you got to get that out of them some way, somehow. And sometimes talking to them helps. Sometimes isolating them from everybody else and talking to them helps. But you have to give them something to spark. You have to spark them some way. So I'll do my best to spark their inner self.
Yeah.
Because, I'm an anime head. So there are certain types of anime that I watch that gives me hope. And, it's not cartoons. There are characters that you see, you like, wow, he overcame the whole lot to become the person that he is. And that's what I try to embark and try to tell them, that you have something inside of you. It's up to you to bring that out.
Yeah. What have you learned about the idea or the concept of influence that most people misunderstand? Because again, I keep going back to social media because I think it's the most relevant and exciting
Yes.
thing or accessible thing to this generation that we are in right now, that we confuse a follower or a like with influence. And many people use that the wrong way. It's like, okay, how many people are following me and how many people are liking what I did? Oh, they like this dumb thing that I just did. Let me do it some more.
Do more.
Right? So what have you learned about influence that most people misunderstand?
Influence is a double-edged sword. It can be a good thing or a bad thing. Now you find out that the more negative influence you are, the more people want to see how negative you can get. Just told someone this morning that attention is the new drug. Everybody wants that attention, but they don't know what to do once they get it. You got to know what to do once you get that attention, and never, ever be a follower. You can't be, in order to lead someone, you got to know what your bad and good things are, qualities are about who you are. Me, one of my bad qualities is I used to curse. I used to use profanity because, hey, military, you got to, hey, it's time to get up, let's go. But I had to learn to just calm it down a little bit because, especially if you have girls. So me being the following thing, you got to know what you put out there. You got to know whatever you put out there is going to come back tenfold. And if you put out negative stuff, and it's going to come back and bite you sooner or later. So what I try to do is try to be a positive influence and put good stuff out there, good feeling stuff out there, so that somebody can say, you know what? I saw this thing on L's stream that it moved me. I said, I said that I'll remember it. I'll remember, but it was a good saying. But liking who you are and putting yourself in a good headspace makes you become a good leader.
Without a doubt. I was having a conversation with my wife, and thought came to mind. Negativity is like a bad cold. Think about it. When you have a bad cold, you're stuffy, you don't want to do anything. You just want to be in a blanket, eat some soup, and be left alone. You're not thinking straight. You're not thinking clear. You don't want to do anything, right? And
Right.
negativity sometimes does that to us, right? Like if my mind is so corrupted with negativity, I don't want to talk to anybody. I'm not feeling creative. I don't want to do anything positive or exciting. So, take some positivity shot or whatever you got to do in the morning before you start your day so you can see the best outcome and be the best that you can be in life. Let's talk about, you mentioned earlier higher power, and I want to dive a little bit into faith, community, and purpose. How has faith or spirituality influenced the direction of your life? Because someone who has gone through the things that you've gone through or have seen the things that you have seen, you need a sense of direction to become a better person and a sense of belief that makes you cling at becoming a better person. Example, you mentioned about profanity. Example, you mentioned the environment that you grew up in and still didn't drink or ever smoked. So those things tell me that you are clinging on a higher power to give you the empowerment that is needed. But on your own word, I would love to hear, how has faith or spirituality influenced the direction of your life?
What's something people don't know about the next-gen streaming platform? Imagine a world where streaming isn't just about broadcasting your content, but about creating an entire universe for your audience to explore. VirtuoVerse is here to revolutionize content creation. Traditional streaming is outdated. With VirtuoVerse, you can step into a new dimension of interaction and creativity. Host events, create content, and engage your audience in a whole new way. VirtuoVerse brings next-level virtual experiences where you're not just a creator, you're an innovator. Create your own virtual stage with stunning visuals and real-time engagement. Stream, monetize, and grow, all in one powerful platform. Whether you're an artist, an entrepreneur, or a game changer, VirtuoVerse is your stage. Imagine having the tools to not only share your passion, but also to turn it into a thriving business. With VirtuoVerse, you can track your growth, engage with your audience in real time, and celebrate your milestones like never before. Ready to level up? Join the revolution in content creation and entertainment. Open a free account today and start your journey towards becoming a virtual pioneer. The future of streaming is here, and it's called VirtuoVerse. Don't just stream, create, innovate, and captivate your audience like never before. Join VirtuoVerse today and redefine what it means to be a content creator. VirtuoVerse integrates seamlessly with your favorite social media platforms, making it easier than ever to share your content and grow your audience. Engage with your followers, receive instant feedback, and build a community around your passion. And here's the game changer. VirtuoVerse pays you for watching, adding, and commenting on other people's content. Turn your engagement into earnings and make every interaction count. VirtuoVerse is not just a platform, it's a thriving ecosystem where everyone benefits. Join VirtuoVerse today and be part of the future of streaming. Create, share, and earn like never before. VirtuoVerse, where your creativity meets endless possibilities. Sign up at VirtuoVerse for free today.
Spirituality made my path a little bit more, because, when you don't have anything to believe in, it's like superstition. You believe in superstitions, and you follow people in their direction that they're going instead of following your own. But once you find your own spirituality and you hold yourself to that, no one can knock you off your path. No matter how influential they are, no matter how loud they get, you are still the master of your own direction. My spirituality is that there's a higher power. I know that there is a determining factor of who I am as a person, and being a good person makes everybody else look forward to talking to you, look forward to seeing you, look forward to having deep conversations with you. Your people draw attention. Your spirituality is your light. So the more your light shines to certain people, the more they're attracted to you, like a moth to a flame or a light. They want to see, well, why is he like that? What makes him like that? And some people, you got to understand, just because you got a light, there's a person that's just as dark
Absolutely.
that's going to try to come and put your light out because they don't want to see you shine.
Where, if I may, where do you believe men, especially black men, need the most support right now?
They need guidance. They need someone to believe in and someone to believe in them. Because right now, black men feel like there's nobody that believes in them. There are a lot of black women that have podcasts that just downgrade and put them down and make them feel insignificant, not just to black women, but to the world. And to feel that way is a lonely place to be, to feel that no one believes in you, to it's like every day getting up, walking out the door. You don't know what's going to happen. You like, it's Russian roulette. You don't know what's going to throw you off. You don't know if police going to get you. You don't know if someone that looks like you is going to get you. It's a constant PTSD. But you got to have somewhere, some way to alleviate that pressure on yourself when you're going to explode.
Yeah.
And that's what I do with this basketball team. I try to get everybody in there as much as I can to make them see that there is something, bless you, there's something different out there than just what you see.
The community that we live in makes an impact on how we operate in our communities, right? You know,
Correct.
they say when you buy a home, you're buying your neighbors. So
Yes.
what does the community role look like? Or rather, what role does community play in a person's transformation? You know, I think you would agree with me. I see. I was born and raised in a third world country. I was born and raised in Morocco, Northwest Africa, and I was born in a
Wow. Okay.
neighborhood where the neighbor will whoop your butt and then bring you home and tell your parents, "Hey, I whooped his butt
Yep.
because here's what I found him doing."
Then
Right,
you get another one.
and then you get exactly. Then you get another one. Right? It's like that was just the appetizer. So
Right.
I'm not for violence or beating anybody up, but I'm using that as an example that where I grew up, you know, in late 80s and early 90s, that was the environment that I grew up in, and it plays a big role on how I still see neighbors, you know, and you know, I'm like, okay, I got a role to play in here, and I got to be respectful and honorable because I remember how I grew up. It's not the same thing anymore where now
Nope.
you see people closing their blinds and ignoring things and saying that's none of my business. So what does the community play as a role in the transformation of a person?
Well, for me, I think the world has become more selfish. And what I mean by that is we take ownership of our kids, but we don't take ownership of what they do. Like you said, back in the days, never, hey, get your butt down the street and get home. That street light come on and you ain't at home, you got
Yeah.
problems.
Yeah.
But now, like I said before, a lot of these parents want to be friends with their kids because they don't want their kids not to like them. But in my neighborhood where I grew up, where I'm at now, everyone knows everybody. So there's no renters. Everybody owns the house. This house has been in the neighborhood for about 70 years. And everybody in this neighborhood knows everybody. So in order to make things better, you have to know your neighbor. And your neighbor in some way has to trust you. But if your neighbor doesn't know you, and you don't get to know them, it's going to be the same cycle over and over again. You don't have anyone watching the children like they used to. So now you see more kidnapping, you see more trafficking, you see all that. You know, when we grew up, you couldn't take one because everybody was with each other.
Mm-hmm.
We looked out for each other. That's why the kidnapping stuff, we could walk 2 miles to school, but it's like 8 of us or 5 of us. So
Yeah.
if you got one, you had to get all of us. And you don't want that problem. So nowadays, there are more kids that are more isolated into the gaming situation. They're just to themselves. They don't want to go outside anymore. They just want to stay in the house and play the game and do that type of thing. But kids now are less sociable than we were.
Yeah. Let's dive into the basketball. Let's talk
Okay.
about, we got a inaugural season for you. Tell us about your team. Tell us about what you're excited about. Tell us about why the V League. Give us a little bit of the official introduction.
Well, what I'm gonna say, Lindsay of the Savannah Hurricanes, that's my boy. That's my dog. He recommended I come to the V League, and I was looking, but I'm like, why not go to a person that I know and I trust? Go with them with a league that's gonna help me develop not only as an owner, but more as a person as well. Open up doors for players, my players, put them in good situations and not making them feel like less than. The V League has offered me a lot. This is my inaugural season, so I'm trying to get my feet on the ground. I had to go and hire marketing personnel, Joshua Sharp, my GM, Charity Bowen, a photographer, and I had to get all this stuff together because the other leagues didn't require that. So what is not required is not needed. So I felt that that's going to make me a better person in this league, give them exposure as well. But hey, look what they put together. My players, I have some pretty good players. Javier McKinney is my leading scorer. He played for Tuskegee. Mainly got drafted by the Atlanta Hawks. Got injured. As those injuries, man,
Yep.
they will take you away from whatever beliefs and dreams you got. So you got to make the most of it. Tavion Roundtree is my point guard. I call him the general. I have some pretty good players that are finding their way. Yeah, I have some pretty good players, man, that I respect and that respect me. I would make sure that they have anything they need. If they need me, all they got to do is give me a call. And that right there opens up more of a father role, too,
I was going to say
as
the
well.
opportunity to mentor.
Yes. And that right there has made it even easier for me to coach.
So let's keep it right there. What is the mission that you are on right now that the world needs to not only hear about, but be put on notice that I am here and I'm coming? Talk to us.
The Steel City Reapers are from a small city in Alabama, Birmingham, the maybe Pittsburgh, if you want to call it that. But I want people to know that when you play us, you're going to know you played us. And my mission is to bring a championship from the V League to Birmingham, to have us know not just in the state of Alabama, but across the United States. So when people say, hey, you heard about Steel City Reapers? No, what? Hey, they just won again. I want to be that type of team. I want to raise eyebrows, not just, like I said, not just locally, but nationally. I want people to say, hey, they got a good squad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They can compete with anybody.
If you had a megaphone for 30 seconds to speak to the world, what is that message that you are delivering? And you only got that 30 seconds for the remainder of your life. No, never ever again will you have that 30 seconds in the world attention. What is the message? I know I gave you 30 seconds to speak to 8 billion people. That ain't something you prepare for on the spot.
Okay. Let me see what I can come up with. We have to find the respect for one another that we used to have. If you don't love somebody, you can always respect them. And with that respect, you gain more people that will be there for you when you need them. Don't be so selfish that you stop giving who you are as a person to the world. The world needs more respect, more love, and more understanding because everybody has a story. Just because yours is right in your head don't mean you can't listen to theirs.
Absolutely. As we're coming towards the end of our episode, what is next for the great Elrick King in 2026? We're finishing 2025. What is it for you?
First, get my daughter to walk across the stage from graduating.
Amen to that.
Let's see. I want to bring as much happiness to so many people that don't have it. I want to be, like I said, be that light to people that don't have that light to look at. I want to make people smile when they say my name. Doesn't have to be anything bad in this world, but we can always make something better if we believe in one another like we're supposed to.
That's powerful. Well, we are not only praying, excited, hoping for you, and rooting for you. As you know, I have a team that does as much as we can, highlights and docu-series for all things V-League, and I cannot wait to not only share this story with the V-League community as much as VirtuoHub community. And for those of you who are listening, wherever you may be around the world, make sure that you are not only engaging, commenting, not right now if you're driving, because I know when you're driving, put that phone down because I care about you alive more than I care about you entertained or part of the conversation.
Gotcha.
But definitely keep an eye on Coach Elrick King and the impact that he has created. I'm sure you felt his vibe, you felt his energy. And for all things V League, just go to vleague.pro where you can see the stats. You can have opportunities where you can maybe even apply to get a tryout with a team or apply to be a sponsor or a collaborator or even get involved on the next season as a franchise owner. And for all things that are social media, digital, for all things that it comes down to what you are already doing in the mega platforms that already exist. Remember, virtualverse.com actually pays you for those very same activities. It pays you to host a meeting. It pays you to like, comment, share. It pays you to live stream. So you are already doing it. Might as well do it at virtualverse.com as well. But this time you get paid for it without getting shadow banned, without
What's
getting...
something people don't know about the next-gen streaming platform? Imagine a world where streaming isn't just about broadcasting your content, but about creating an entire universe for your audience to explore. VirtuoVerse is here to revolutionize content creation. Traditional streaming is outdated. With VirtuoVerse, you can step into a new dimension of interaction and creativity. Host events, create content, and engage your audience in a whole new way. VirtuoVerse brings next-level virtual experiences where you're not just a creator, you're an innovator. Create your own virtual stage with stunning visuals and real-time engagement. Stream, monetize, and grow, all in one powerful platform. Whether you're an artist, an entrepreneur, or a game changer, VirtuoVerse is your stage. Imagine having the tools to not only share your passion, but also to turn it into a thriving business. With VirtuoVerse, you can track your growth, engage with your audience in real time, and celebrate your milestones like never before. Ready to level up? Join the revolution in content creation and entertainment. Open a free account today and start your journey towards becoming a virtual pioneer. The future of streaming is here, and it's called VirtuoVerse. Don't just stream, create, innovate, and captivate your audience like never before. Join VirtuoVerse today and redefine what it means to be a content creator. VirtuoVerse integrates seamlessly with your favorite social media platforms, making it easier than ever to share your content and grow your audience. Engage with your followers, receive instant feedback, and build a community around your passion. And here's the game changer. VirtuoVerse pays you for watching, adding, and commenting on other people's content. Turn your engagement into earnings and make every interaction count. VirtuoVerse is not just a platform, it's a thriving ecosystem where everyone benefits. Join VirtuoVerse today and be part of the future of streaming. Create, share, and earn like never before. VirtuoVerse, where your creativity meets endless possibilities. Sign up at VirtuoVerse for free today.